Hello, mate. You're all right, Will?
I'm wonderful, thanks. What's on your mind?
Excellent. Well, I'm calling in regards, you've been talking about food and zinc, etc., and everything else.
Yeah.
My family and I have just come back from a wedding in Greece, and we flew home on Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
I won't mention the airline that we flew with, but we were in the airport, and we had a 9-year-old little girl with us, and we were a little bit late getting there and so forth and what have you, and we didn't have time to have anything to eat in the airport, and my daughter, we purchased her a sandwich, a drink, packet of crisps, what have you, and once we got on the aeroplane, just as it was taxiing, and they were doing the final check, she was eating a sandwich, and the guy who was a member of the cabin crew came over to us, and he told us that nobody was allowed to eat or drink anything which wasn't purchased on the airline, and he told us that it had to be taken off her, and she couldn't have it. So I explained to him, I said, look, we've been in the airport, so forth and what have you, she hasn't had a chance to eat, she's only 9.
Yeah.
And, well, that's irrelevant of age. He said, it has been on the news that you're not to eat or drink on this specific airline, so forth and what have you, what you brought on yourself. He said, and I've got no option now, he said, but to report you to the pilot. He said,
what?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. Now, and just pause for a second here, because I've heard a news report where you can't drink alcohol. You can't bring your own booze on and drink it. And there's obvious reasons for that. But I've never, ever heard that you can't bring your own food on an aeroplane.
This is what happens, mate. After trying to explain to him, she's 9. We weren't eating, we weren't drinking. She's 9. She's absolutely starving. We've come from the hotel 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
She needs something to eat. So I'm quite satisfied to purchase, food and drink on your airline. He said, but, is there a possibility you could get us something then? And he went, well, you'll just have to wait. He said, but in the meantime, he said, I've got no option now. He said, but what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to report you to the pilot.
Well, I'd just say, go and report me to the pilot, then see if he cares.
Which I did do, right? So we took the food and the bottle of water off our daughter.
Yeah.
I said, put it in the the little
the pocket thing. Yeah.
The guy came over again and told us that we'd been told to put it away. So we've taken an offer, we've put it in there.
Oh, he really had a cob on with you, didn't he?
Oh, he had a right go with us.
Neil, just pause for a second, because sometimes there's two sides to this, and you sound to me like a very reasonable, nice man. Had you done something to this cabin crew? Had you had words with him, or had you snapped at him because it was the first thing in the morning? You can tell me, I promise.
No, we had absolutely no problem with the airline or the staff who were on there as well. We basically gave a 9-year-old girl a cheese and ham sandwich and a bottle of water to eat while we were taxiing to take off. And I just think it's absolutely scandalous for the attitude that he had. I mean, if he came over politely and said, you're not supposed to, have your own food or drink, etc. on the aircraft, could you just pop it away for us? There'd been no problem, but it was totally embarrassing. Everybody was looking at us around. It was as though we were drunk. We hadn't even had a drink. We were treated appallingly, absolutely appallingly.
And I mean, out of interest, did the pilot, respond? Because obviously this guy reported you apparently to the pilot. Did the pilot say anything or do anything? Or
the pilot himself didn't respond, no. But I'm going to imagine she was the team leader of the crew who was on. Yeah. She came over to us and she handed us a piece of paper with the policy on it.
Was she any less snotty than the fella?
Not really, no. She was a little bit more lenient with us. She apologised, that it was a child. But the thing which I'm getting to is, nowhere on the booking confirmation that we had, nowhere on the safety information, and nowhere in the announcement was it stated at all that you weren't to purchase, that you weren't to have any food or drink that wasn't purchased.
Do you know what, Neil? I know you said you weren't going to name it. I think we need to know who it is, really. So just so we know for future reference, not to bring it. So which airline are we talking about?
Well, I've told you your researchers who the airline was. Right. I don't know if you want me to mention it or.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, don't worry. Just say who it is. It's fine.
It was EasyJet.
Really? I'll have to Google that, because I've not been on an EasyJet flight for a while. Maybe they have introduced it as a policy. Maybe there was a news story that I missed. But as far as I'm concerned, it's always been my plan of attack on any air journey is I don't pay overpriced. I don't pay over the odds to eat on the plane or to eat in the airport cafes. I just go and get a meal deal from the chemist that's there or the WH Smiths or whatever, and bring it onto the plane, because you can have a decent feed for £3 instead of for 10 or 15.
Exactly, but it was the way we were spoken to by the staff. I just thought it could have been handled a lot more professionally and a lot more diplomatically if he'd have come over to us and said, look, mate, you can't really do that. We'll be popping away. We're quite happy to save you, something similar or anything else.
There we go. And it's
reasonable people.
It's a warning as well for anyone who is flying with EasyJet. It's because I didn't know that, so at least we'll know now, and we'll know for future.
For EasyJet, I mean, we're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we most certainly will never book a flight with EasyJet ever again. Okay.
Well, what we'll do is Neil, appreciate that. Thanks for your call. We'll go to them and we'll get a response. Obviously, it won't be on today's show, but we shall put it to them just in case they want to put their side of the story across. But I'm kind of glad that you told us about it, because if it's policy, we should know, and they should be letting us know when we book the flights as well. Perhaps they are. Perhaps it is in the famous small print. Let's go to the next call.